Hey, what's up? My name is Ange. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, in this reading vlog, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be reading the entire Throne of Glass series, and this is probably going to be my longest video yet. Hello, so I am kind of just throwing this clip in here because originally I was going to do this as one giant long full spoiler reading vlog for the entire series, maybe split it into part 1 and part 2, but it's been about 2 months or so since I read Throne of Glass, and I was like, you know what, maybe I just want to format this reading vlog differently, so I'm going to be doing a playlist on my channel of all of the Throne of Glass reading vlog, and I'm going to do each book. I'm going to do one video. This is just going to be one video, and then the next book's going to be one, blah, blah, and so on and so forth. I don't know how long it's going to take me to read the series, so I kind of think that this is just going to be easier for the way that I read and the way that I want to do it, because I don't want to rush it and then have all these clips from like a year ago, like however long it takes me to read it. As I read them, I'm just going to upload them as regular full spoiler reading vlogs, and then eventually I will have a whole playlist of the entire thing. So I just think that that is going to be easier. So I just wanted to jump in here and say that this video was filmed 2 months ago, and now I'm here changing up how I want to format the video. So enjoy, and I will see you next time. This is a full spoiler reading vlog, so if you have not read this yet, then I advise you to please click off. But the long awaited oh my gosh, I put off reading this. It is March 12th that I am starting this reading vlog. We're gonna see how long it takes me, but I have put off starting this simply because I am terrified, like absolutely terrified. This is so, like, I'm looking at Kingdom of Ash right now, and like that is like one of the biggest books I've ever seen. It's scary, like scary. But I'm gonna be starting this. It's gonna be, again, full spoiler reading vlog, very in depth, all my thoughts, you know, and I have my list here of how I'm reading it. As you can tell, I am doing it the romantic way, not the purist way. And the romantic way is to read Assassin's Blade 4th instead of 1st. The only difference is that the purist way, you read it 1st and not 4th. So then I am doing the tandem read of Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn. So I have my whole list here, mostly just for the tandem read, as you can see, because wow, is that like not the most scary thing you've ever seen in your life? Because what is the word that I am looking for? Not scary, intimidating. Is that not the most intimidating list you've ever seen in your entire life? Because it is for me, so this should be fun. But if you do not know, the Throne of Glass series is by Sarah J. Maas, who wrote the ACOTAR series. I am pretty sure that I was like supposed to read this before I read ACOTAR. I did not. Also, at the time, I decided to wait to read Crescent City until after I was done with Throne of Glass, because the majority of things that I read said that I should wait. So I did read ACOTAR last year, and then now I am starting this, and then I'm going to read the Crescent City. Oh, okay. So this book, it says, lethal, loyal, legendary. In a land without magic, an assassin is summoned by the castle. She has no love for the vicious king who rules from his throne of glass, but she has not yet come to kill him. She has come to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 murderers, thieves, and warriors in a competition, she will be released from prison to serve as the king's champion. Her name is, oh Jesus, this is the one thing about fantasy books. Ready? I am going to butcher this. Selena Sarduthian. Am I correct? I don't know, because I refuse to look anything up because I don't want to ruin anything for myself. So we're going to deal with me probably mispronouncing the character's name. The crown prince will provoke her, the captain of the guard will protect her, and a princess from a faraway country will befriend her. But something rotten dwells in the castle and is there to kill. When her competitors start dying mysteriously one by one, Selena's fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival, and a desperate quest to root out the evil before it destroys her world. I am excited. Apparently, this is all... Oh my gosh, it's so intimidating. Apparently, this whole first book is a lot of world building. I try not to ruin anything for myself, so I have no idea. Did you know apparently this series is over 7,000 pages long? 7,000 pages. 7,000 pages. Let's go. Let's get into it. And let's start reading the Throne of Glass series. The captain of the guard took her out of like her cell, I'm assuming it is, and brought her to the prince of, oh gosh, I'm butchering this, Aderlan? How do you pronounce the guard's name? Kale? I'm gonna call him Cole. Let's look up the Chaol. How to pronounce? It's a YouTube video.
Amazing, delicious pizza. There's also lava cakes, bread bites, and more.
Ooh.
How do you pronounce these characters' name? Expert swordsman in Throne of Glass. Chow. I'm just kidding. Kale is how you say it.
I'm just kidding. His name is Kale? I need a cheat sheet. His name is Kale? I like Cole. Let's call him Cole. I refuse to believe his name is Kale. Kale? You couldn't have even... It starts with a C. Okay. Kale. I feel like... So there's gotta be a love interest, right? I hope it's the guard. Kale the guard. I got to chapter 3. So for anybody who doesn't know, if I don't talk about it enough, I use Notion. So under my YouTube page, I created a whole page for this reading blog. I did swords because I thought that was the best. So here it is, right? I have the start date, the end date, what I want to do, my intro, and random filming notes. But I also put all of the books so that I could put little notes and stuff, because apparently this series is so much that I'm gonna need notes. So I'm starting with Throne of Glass, and so far all I put was the characters. So we have Kale Westfall, who's captain of the guard, and then we have Dorian Havillard. We have Dorian, who is the crown prince of Aderlan. Oh, Jesus. This is going to be such an interesting vlog. Everyone, just don't even bother correcting me in the comments. I know who I'm talking about. I just can't pronounce them. So, do I sense a love triangle happening, or is it going to be like a friendship kind of thing? I'm sensing a love triangle because that's going to be the most interesting thing. But, like, she's saying Kale is cute, but she's also saying that Dorian is cute, and they're both young. So, I'm excited. This is so intimidating. Okay. We're going to keep going, but I just wanted to check in, and I'll show the notes as I go. But wow, I need to keep track of all this. One more check-in until something bigger happens. Dorian explained to Selena, what he needs from her, and he wants her to compete in this sort of game thing to be the assassin or champion for his dad. Normally they would just like basically hire her, but they're not doing that. The dad wants to make it more fun. So I don't know if it's 23 more people or 23 including her are basically just competing to see who is going to be this champion or assassin. And since she agreed to do it, dad was like, okay, she'll get out and have her freedom in 6 years if she's my assassin for 6 years. Now she bargained with Dorian, and now it's going to be 4 years. So we'll see how that goes. They're going to Rithold in the morning. So, starting chapter 4. So just a little update. I am on chapter, I believe it's 14 or so. Oh, everything's falling out. I'm starting chapter 14, so I'm about like 25% of the way through it. Normally, I probably would have finished a book this size already, but because it's fantasy, it takes me a little bit longer, one, to get into, but two, I like to go slow so I understand. So for this whole thing, I'm taking notes like I mentioned earlier. So I have all my characters and then just some random notes. So we met a whole bunch of people. The competition has technically started. They have like, what I kind of imagined was like how the Hunger Games, I don't know which Hunger Games movie it was, but not really like a weapons competition, but more of like a skills competition where everyone can kind of see who they're up against. We also met Princess Nehemia, the Royal Highness YTGER of EYLLWE. She is awesome, right? Love her. Also, she went into the library, and I love this quote, so I thought I would share it. She'd entered a city made entirely of leather and paper. I was like, why is that so cute? Like, I actually love that. And then Kale was trying to explain to her, is his name really Kale? Because I like Cole so much better, but I guess because of the video and everyone saw it, or everyone heard it of how it was pronounced, I'm gonna just call him Kale because that's what it said. They were talking after that like skills competition, and he was saying he wants her to stay in the middle and not to excel in the competition so that nobody tries to eliminate her, because like I believe that she's the only girl in the competition. And he's like, well, if everyone sees how well you're doing, then they're going to want to eliminate you sooner. I want them at the very end to be like, oh no, the last person in the competition, or the last 4 are, one of them is that girl. Like, that's how he wants her to stay. And I also said, I can't tell if he's in love with her or wants to get rid of her. And also, the princess is awesome, and they're definitely going to team up and kill everyone. I absolutely love it. Because she was saying how her hands are calloused, kind of where she would hold the dagger, and I was like, I love you. So that's as far as I've gotten, really. Kale walked into her room, and she was training. I think she was doing pull-ups, and I was like, I really like it. There's not much to say. It's a lot of world building and just getting into the actual story, so I am excited. But we are starting the competition, and yeah, I want to get this book finished within the next 3 days because I am starting a new video on Monday. It is Thursday right now, and I don't want this to be included in that video. So we have 75% to get through, right? Yep, we have 75% of the way to get through within the next 3 days, which I definitely think I can do. I'm just taking it slow, so try and get through a whole bunch tonight and this weekend. So let's read. Will this start a pattern? Yes. I believe that it will based on the back of the book. I'm pretty sure a couple more of them are going to end up dead. Oh, if I didn't mention it, the eyeball guy, the eyeball champion, is the one that ended up dead. So I don't know where I left off, but I was able to read a bunch. So the notes that I believe that I have on here are the passageway. That was literally the coolest thing ever, right? So Selena woke up and she goes down this passageway, and that's where she finds, I believe it's Elena. No, that was the dream. The passageway is where she sees that she was the like only one pretty much not invited to that party because she can see through, but then also there was like this kind of like gate where all the sewage goes through where she can see that she can escape. And I think that that's definitely going to be useful at some point in the story, considering that they mentioned it in such detail. And I said the love triangle that is forming, like the jealousy between the guys, I was like, ooh, they have such a close friendship. So for the fact that they clearly both have feelings for Selena, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. Personally, if we're going to take sides right now, and this is if I'm even correct, I am team Kale. Or again, I don't know if that's really his name, but I am team Kale. I don't really love Dorian. I can picture her with Kale. I don't know if it's because he's just like the guard or whatever, but I feel like I can't picture her with the prince, the crown prince, but I don't know. But I do like him. Like, I don't have anything against Dorian, but I would just prefer her with Kale. So, like I was saying before, the dream that she had. So she realized on the tapestry, whatever the heck it's called, the girl on it was Elena. Now, Elena was like part of the kingdom like years and years ago. She was like her father. I don't really completely remember. But her ghost coming to warn her and gave her something to wear to protect her and tell her that she must become the champion. When I was reading that part, it was literally full body chills. I was like, oh my god, this really got interesting. And now with fantasy books, it usually takes me a little bit to get into it, but once I get into it, like, that's it. So I hit like the 43% mark, and I was like, I am hooked. So, and I said it must be the people or things or whatever they are, like Elena was talking about, that separate the two worlds, who are killing these champions and doing all that. And now I believe I'm on chapter 30, and Viren just got murdered. And Selena says, Selena realized with a jolt that perhaps the champion's killer and Elena's mysterious evil force might be one and the same. And I was like, oh, I was right. And then I also was saying something about, is it the gargoyles on the outside of the castle? And this was before I read this part. Because they have the same marks around them, like they found on another body. They're WYRD marks, word marks. Wired marks. I feel like it's word marks, but whatever. And they're usually used with, I think it was with blood, because they said that it was smeared. So that's really interesting. And people are just like dying. I hope that Nox survives. I like Nox. I'm hoping the best for him. But this is like, I'm really interested now and I'm really into it. So I'm very happy. But that's the only update that I have for you right now. Also, Catelyn, Katlin, Caitlin, whatever. Her, I don't like her. I feel like she is sneaky. Clearly she just wants the title, so that's why she wants to go after Dorian, but like, don't really care for her, don't like her, like, at all. And I feel like the princess who, Nehemia, I think is her name, I feel like maybe, I'm gonna take a wild guess here and I'm gonna be completely wrong. But I think that these beasts or whatever, because she was like, stop. Like, so, like, abrupt whenever Selena was bringing up the marks, that I think she has, like, something to do with it, or she knows what's going on, or she's, like, the inside source, because everyone's like, why are you here? So, maybe, possibly, she has something to do with that, too. Awkward angle for a check-in, right? So Kale is watching Parrington because I think it was Selena was saying how whoever's responsible for killing the champions could be among them, so thinking maybe it's one of the members of the King's Council who has a champion in there that wants everyone else dead to make their champions, like, chances better. So he's been, I gotta put this down because this is a heavy camera. So he's been watching Parrington, and he's saying that every once in a while, between the grins and laughter, when a shadow passes across his face, it's not a look of anger or disgust, but a shade that clouds his eyes. And Caitlin, whatever, was saying that her head was really hurting. Like, do you think everyone's getting, like, possessed? Because of, like, this magic? Because magic is in this. So is it, like, this magic that's been banned? Or they, like, I don't know how to put this into words, but I can, like, imagine what I'm trying to say, but I feel like I'm not saying it properly. But do you think the magic is, like, coming back? Because I think she said in the beginning of the book that it's kind of like it just disappeared. So do we think that maybe it's, like, some sort of magic possession? Not possession of more like ghosts, but, like, a magic way of it. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm really wrong. I don't know. Fantasy books are really difficult for me. I mean, I could tell you if, like, the character's gonna fall in love or not, but this, it could literally be anything. It's what I love about them, but I'm just saying. So, I don't know. We're gonna keep watching. We're not gonna keep watching. We're gonna keep reading. Because I'm reading a book, I'm not watching a show. I don't know if I said it, but I think, or thought, the Princess Nehemia, again, the names, I've been thinking it, Princess Nehemia, because she knew what those marks were, word marks? I'm gonna call them word marks. I don't know. She knew what they were, and she was like, stay away from them. So I thought that maybe she had something to do with it. Like, she's kind of weird. Like, why are you here? So Selena just went to the library at like 12 o'clock at night after finding all these marks underneath her bed when she dropped her book. And when she goes there, Nehemia's reading this book that is way too advanced for the way that she speaks in this other language. So it's like, how are you reading this book? Like, are you deceiving me? And she's kind of just like, what does she say? Like, what are you reading? Nothing. And she's all like weird. I thought you couldn't read at that level yet. Then you're like every ignorant fool in this castle, Lillian. She said with perfect pronunciation in the common tongue. Not giving her a chance to reply, the princess strode away. It's like, and then she's like, but she came from a conquered kingdom, and the king of Ardalan had ripped the crown off her father's head and stripped the title from him. And the people were being kidnapped in the night and sold into slavery right along with the rebels that rumor the claim Nehemia supported so fiercely. And 500 of those citizens had just been butchered. Why would she plot against her? I don't know, it's kind of like, someone's got to be behind it. It would make the most sense that it would be her, but like, is that too obvious? Very clearly, I want her to end up with the guard. Kale or Cole. I still think I want to pronounce it Cole, but that pronunciation video I watched, it said Kale. So I want her to end up with Kale Westfall. However, I really think that she's going to end up with Dorian just because of the way that she talks about them. Like, Kale's more of like a friend, like a bestie, and Dorian, like the way that they talk about each other. I don't know. I feel like, right here, like, was there music playing? She'd forgotten. The world had shrunken to nothing, dissolved by the golden glow of candles. But there were her feet, and here was her arm, and her neck, and her mouth. She smiled and took his hand, still keeping one eye on the ball around them. I'm like, I feel like she's more like in love with him. I don't know, I really don't want her to be with him. I would prefer for her to be with the guard. I have roughly 100 pages left. I'm gonna finish this book today, and then I'm filming a whole video next week. Obviously, at the time that this goes out, that video will already be done and posted, but I'm reading 200 pages a day for a week, and I don't want to overlap books and videos. I try not to do that. Like, if I can avoid it, I try not to do that. So I'm gonna read a little bit, get this one done this weekend so that I can film that next week, and then pick up the next book. I need to talk for a minute because, like, what? So, the Parrington told Caitlin about how, okay, first of all, her and Dorian kiss. Let's start with that at the ball, or after the ball, because then they were dancing all night and whatever the heck, whatever. Still, I don't condone the relationship, but whatever, it is what it is. So, because he was like all over her all night, Caitlin is like jealous, and Parrington, the Duke that she's with, noticed that. So when they were taking a walk the next day, he was like, well, she's not who she says she is, and told her literally the whole thing. Now keep in mind, Parrington is, his champion is Kane. Now Kane is like the big dude who just keeps getting stronger and stronger. So Selena hasn't seen Nehemia. Okay, back up. My brain is like, so I'm all over the place. But then they're like talking, and he's like, I have an idea. They're gonna have a toast right before the duel starts, so you can poison her. Just enough, not kill her, but just enough that it can, like, hold her back so that Kane can kill her. I'm like, and she's like, tell me what to do. I'm like, girl, what? So then, she's like, Selena is, it happens, a champion dies every, like, it's like a day or two before the tests. So she's looking through the passages, the only way that somebody could get through is if, like, they have to be in here. They're not coming through any other way. So she's like, the only way they can get through is like, oh my god, the passageway. So now she's going through the passageway, and then she sees a man. And inside the small chamber, kneeling before a darkness so black that it seemed poised to devour the world, was Kane. Now that's how Kane is getting all of this power, right? So he'd been using the word marks and the beast they summoned to steal the dead champion's strength. That's how he was getting so strong. So it's called a Ridderak, R-I-D-D-E-R-A-K. It was something out of an ancient god's nightmares. Its hairless gray skin was stretched tightly across his metaban head, displaying a gaping hole filled with black fangs. Scary. You use, like, the word, she was reading in the book about these marks that, like, you have to make the marks in their blood to summon this demon, and then when this demon is summoned, then now in this case Kane gets the strength. Like, why are you just not doing this to Selena? I don't, like, obviously there wouldn't be a book series if it wasn't for that, but, like, why are you not just doing this to her? Why do you need to, like, prove it? Or is she just, like, more difficult to get to? It must be that, but, like, So he's just like, so is this the way that works? Like, Cain is standing there and basically like getting the champions to come near him, and then I'm kind of confused on the process, but maybe I'll figure it out eventually. Is she gonna use the... Is she gonna use the sword from the king? Yes! Okay, so is this thing dead? Because clearly, like, that can't be the end of it. Like, is that one dead? Are there more? Does it come back? Is she basically like poisoned? Oh my god, I'm so stressed out. What guy is gonna come more worried? Are they gonna duel it out over her now? Because she's hurt. So then it's gonna be like, usually don't love triangles, but in fantasy books for some reason it's so different. She got bit by Ridrak or whatever, the creature. And then Nehemia came in her room, started bleeding everywhere, and like saved her. So clearly she's practicing magic somehow, because her hand is completely healed. There's no nerve damage, literally nothing. And then she told her everything. Except for what bit her, Cain, the passageway. And same thing with Kale. Like, she didn't tell him any of that. Which is kind of weird. Like, I get it, because she's like, I want to be able to be alone with Dorian, and I don't want him to worry that I have access to this escape route. But, like, really feel like this is something that he should know, because I don't think that this is the end of it, Selena. Like, she's like, well, I defeated it, I killed it, so, like, it's fine, and now I'll just beat Cain, and nobody ever has to know about it. Like, I feel like people are gonna have to know about it. I really feel like this isn't the end of it. Love that you are being so whatever about it. Like, oh, it's fine, no one ever has to know. But I feel like they're gonna know. They're gonna know. So she warned Nox and basically told her, well, yeah, I mean, he said her name, so I don't know if she said it. So he was like, you're from where? Like, she basically told him the truth and warned him. And then it said Nox left early that night, slipping out of the castle without a word to anyone. Which, like, sucks, but I'm glad that he didn't get murdered, because now I think we'll see him again. Like, I don't think that's the end of Nox, which I'm happy about. But yeah, she warned him. We're getting to the end. I have like 70 pages left. That's nerve-wracking, like really nerve-wracking. I have finished Throne of Glass. Yay! Let's get a round of applause for the first book of this very intimidating series being completed. Let's talk about some of the things that happened since I checked in last. Now, I don't remember exactly, but the duel happened, right? So there were 2 fights between her and Grave. I believe it was Grave or Renault. I don't remember. And then Cain fought the other guy. And then obviously her and Cain went against each other. And when she drank the wine that Caitlyn had poison, she had started to have all these hallucinations, whatever, she was being beat. Dorian like stayed up there and was like just watching. And then Kale was like sitting on the sidelines, just again watching. They were watching her get beat. And then she started having all these hallucinations, and then the princess started doing the word marks. The pronunciation of this video is so terrible. She started doing those, and then she basically summoned Elena, who was the first queen, and she saved her. She took the poison out of her so she was able to like properly fight. End of the story. She started seeing all these demons, which we later find out that Cain had been summoning. He had like this whole thing to the underworld, and also the thing underneath Selena's bed. Yeah, that was Nehemia, and she was like, you know how annoying it was when I had to keep going back every time you washed it off? I was like, that's funny. Like, I like the little humor. Kale had stabbed Cain through the heart because he went to go hurt Selena when she was down after she had already won. I don't know what's going on. I know we'll find out eventually, but Pennington, is it Parrington? That guy and the king, they were talking about something like, yeah, Caitlyn started to get the headaches and whatever. I don't know if they are using some sort of magic or something to basically make her like do what they want, and that's why she was like showing her true color. I don't know, but that will obviously come up eventually. So then she signed her contract and she cut things off with Dorian and was like, well, I'm the assassin, like I can't be with you. And he's like, what? So that's the end of book 1. I'm super excited, and oh, she signed her contract, and the king is like, you're gonna do everything that I say, and if you don't come back, I'm gonna kill all the people you care about, starting with Kale. I'm like, what? So I guess that's like kind of foreshadowing. We're gonna have to get Kale out of there before she ditches, because there's no way that she stays for 4 years. And then when she was talking to Elena, right? So interesting. She has to be blood tied to Elena somehow, because at the very end of the chapter, Elena bowed her head. Blood ties can't be broken, she whispered, and then vanished, her words echoing in the silent tomb. I'm like, because she's like, thank you for saving me, blah, 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 and she's like, these people care about you, whatever. I am really confused on how she is related to Elena, but I'm super excited to figure that out. But all in all, I think I would rate this book 4 stars. The beginning, obviously, like I said, fantasy books take a little bit for me to get through. Like, not get through, but get into at first. And then once the world building is done, I would say around like the 42% mark, I think is what I said. Like, roughly around the 40% mark is where things started to get really interesting for me, and when I really wanted to continue and keep reading, couldn't put it down. But this was a great introduction to a fantasy series. Everyone raves about this. I'm so happy that I finally started it, even though, again, it is so intimidating. But it is great. I'm really happy, and yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna pick up the next one. Maybe sometime within the next 2 weeks, because like I said, I'm filming a video. But I have completed book number 1, and the next book is what? What is the next book? Throne of Glass. The next book in this series is Crown of Midnight. A line that should ever be crossed is about to be breached. It puts this entire castle in jeopardy and the life of your friend. From the Throne of Glass rules a king with a fist of iron and a soul as black as pitch. Assassin Selena Sarduthian won a brutal contest to become his champion, yet Selena is far from royal to the crown. She hides her secret vigilantly. She knows that the man she serves is bent on evil. Keeping up on the deadly charade becomes increasingly difficult when Selena realizes she's not the only one seeking justice. As she tries to untangle the mysteries buried deep within the glass castle, her closest relationships suffer. It seems no one is above questioning her allegiances, not the crown prince Dorian, not Kale and the captain of the guard, not even her best friend Nehemia, a foreign princess with a rebel heart. Then one terrible night, the secrets they all have been keeping lead to an unspeakable tragedy. As Selena's world shatters, she will be forced to give up everything most precious to her and decide once and for all where her true loyalties lie, and whom she is ultimately willing to fight for. Oh no, I'm nervous. You know, like when you're reading a book or a series or something, and you're like, you really want to know what happens, but like at the same time you're like, I don't want to know what happens because I just want them to stay in this little bubble and be happy and whatever. Like, I don't want to continue it because I don't want anything bad to happen. That's me right now. But I am super excited. Again, 4 stars, and I will see you when I'm picking up Crown of Midnight.